Look at a map of the Philippines' surrounding waters today. It's crowded like never before. Warships from the US, China, Japan, and Australia now crisscross these seas, conducting drills, patrolling, and watching each other. This isn't a parade. It's a tense, ongoing standoff that marks a major shift in global power. Fleets conduct freedom of navigation operations and joint exercises, each move a calculated message. When a US carrier sails through, it signals support for international law. When Chinese warships shadow it, they assert sovereignty. This is a high-stakes chess game played with billion-dollar vessels and thousands of lives. The naval buildup is a direct response to years of rising tensions. What started as diplomatic protests has become a visible, volatile standoff. These ships are the physical embodiment of decades-old disputes, economic ambitions, and military strategies. For the nations involved, warships are tools of foreign policy. For the world, they're a barometer of rising instability. Why now, and why the Philippines? Geography, history, and a US-China power struggle put the country at the epicenter. The waters off the Philippines are no longer just fishing grounds. They're a global stage for power and influence. Understanding this naval surge means understanding the immense value of the region and the deep-seated conflicts at play. The Filipino people are caught in the middle of a drama that could reshape the world order. The stakes have never been higher for this critical crossroads. The world is watching, and the outcome here will echo far beyond these shores. The Philippines is more than an island nation. It's a strategic archipelago at the heart of Southeast Asia. Its location connects the Pacific and Indian Oceans, making it a prize for empires for centuries. Spain and then the US used it as a hub for trade and military power, shaping its culture and security ties. After independence, the Philippines hosted major US bases, tying its security to Washington. But geography is destiny. Its western coast faces the contested South China Sea, and its north is close to Taiwan. Any regional conflict will inevitably draw in the Philippines. For the US, it's a launch pad. For China, it's a key link in the first island chain. Now, as China grows more assertive, the Philippines must rethink its alliances and defense. It can't rely solely on the US, nor ignore China's power. Once again, the Philippines is at the center of a great power competition. Its strategic importance is being tested as never before. The choices it makes now will define its future. The South China Sea is one of the world's most vital maritime highways. 1/3 of global shipping passes through here. Control means power over trillions in trade, and access to untapped oil and gas reserves. For the Philippines and Vietnam, these resources could transform their economies. For China, they're essential for growth and security. The sea has become a battleground for fishing rights, oil exploration, and military dominance. The US Navy projects power here to ensure freedom of navigation and support allies. China, meanwhile, builds artificial islands and militarizes the area to push rivals away. This is a clash of economic, resource, and military interests, a global flashpoint. Multiple countries, including the Philippines, have legal claims, but China's sweeping 9-dash line challenges them all. The result, a web of overlapping claims and constant tension, where a single miscalculation could spark crisis. The South China Sea is now a cauldron of risk, with global consequences. China and the US are the main players, but the South China Sea is drawing navies from around the world. China's navy has transformed into a blue water force, enforcing claims and intimidating rivals with Coast Guard and militia ships. Their goal: establish control over the entire waterway. The US counters with regular freedom of navigation operations, sending warships near China's artificial islands to assert international rights. The message: these are international waters, open to all. Japan, reliant on these sea lanes, joins joint exercises with the US and the Philippines. Australia increases patrols, signaling its stake in regional stability. Even European powers, UK, France, Germany, send ships, their presence symbolic but significant. They show that the South China Sea's stability is a global concern, not just a regional one. These navies aren't just flexing muscle, they're defending principles of open seas and international law. The region has become a global stage for a contest of power and principle. Every ship is a statement, every exercise a warning. The world's leading democracies are united in opposing unilateral changes by force. The stakes are high and the world is watching. The South China Sea is now everyone's business. Every nation sending warships here has high stakes and complex motives. For China, it's about sovereignty, security, and restoring its status as Asia's dominant power. Control means protecting trade, securing resources, and projecting strength. For the US, it's about upholding the international order and freedom of navigation, the backbone of global trade. US alliances with the Philippines and Japan are on the line. Credibility as a global leader is at stake. Regional players like Japan and Australia depend on these sea lanes for survival. Their navies signal collective security, not confrontation. For the Philippines, the stakes are existential. Its rights to fish, energy, and national identity are under threat. Losing control of its waters means losing food security and economic potential. The presence of foreign warships is both a shield and a risk, protection, but also the threat of conflict on its doorstep. The scramble for influence here is about more than territory. It's about the future of the region. Every move is a gamble with enormous consequences. The Philippines stands at the center of it all. So many warships in close quarters create a powder keg. Daily, vessels from rival nations shadow, intercept, and sometimes collide. One mistake could spark a crisis. The 2001 US-China plane collision showed how quickly things can escalate. Today, the risks are even higher. There's no reliable hotline to defuse incidents, making miscalculation a constant threat. Tensions aren't just at sea. China uses gray zone tactics, deploying Coast Guard and militia boats to harass rivals without open conflict. These actions let China advance claims incrementally, making it hard for others to respond without seeming aggressive. The biggest danger, a small clash, could trigger treaty obligations, especially between the US and the Philippines. What counts as an armed attack is ambiguous, raising the risk of superpower confrontation. The line between peace and war here is razor thin. For Filipinos, this isn't just geopolitics, it's daily life. Fishermen face harassment, lost livelihoods, and fear as Chinese vessels drive them from traditional waters. The promise of oil and gas remains out of reach, blocked by intimidation at sea. Economic hopes are dashed and energy independence slips away. The psychological toll is real. Frustration, protests, and fierce debates about sovereignty and identity. The government must balance defending its people with avoiding war and maintaining economic ties to China. Military buildup brings new problems: displacement, strained resources, and social friction in local communities. Security partnerships can mean sacrifice for ordinary citizens. The front line of this global contest runs through Filipino homes and harbors. Is peace possible? Yes, but it's a steep climb. Diplomacy is key. China, the US, and others need real communication to prevent accidents. ASEAN unity could give Southeast Asia more leverage in negotiating with China. International law matters. The Philippines' 2016 legal victory is a powerful tool, even if China rejects it. Building global support for the ruling and referencing it in diplomacy can reinforce the rules-based order. Economic alternatives to China, investment, trade, and aid, can reduce dependence and pressure. The long-term solution: shift from zero-sum rivalry to cooperation on shared challenges like piracy and marine protection. Trust building and joint projects can lower tensions and create space for peaceful dispute management. The path is hard, but it's the only way to avoid disaster. The crowded waters near the Philippines are a test for the global order. This isn't just about rocks and reefs, it's a clash of visions, might versus law. The outcome will ripple worldwide, shaping how new powers rise and how disputes are settled. If freedom of navigation and peaceful resolution fail here, dangerous precedents will spread. The world's prosperity depends on these sea lanes. Conflict would disrupt supply chains and economies everywhere. The stakes are personal. Food, fuel, and goods for billions depend on stability here. The courage of Filipinos and the choices of world leaders will define the future. This is a moment of truth for international law and cooperation. The future of the South China Sea is unwritten and the world's attention is crucial. What happens here will shape the world we all live in.